with that, will you please now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Toastmaster of the evening, a person who is very, very engaged with this club and who will drive all of us to become better public speakers and leaders. Laura Sanchez, please guide us through the meeting.
Thank you. First, instructions on when to introduce the individual goals this evening. First, we have our word of the day, Alexander and Grammarian, and that will be Sean Adams. Is Sean here? Well, somebody could be filling in for Sean as the last. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
He is running a little bit late, but he will arrive.
He will arrive. Okay, so we will let him fill in as soon as he gets here. Our general evaluator this evening will be Teresa Hernandez.
It's okay to clap on Teresa.
Our first evaluator will be Andrea Ferguson. Our second evaluator will be Shankar Pontier. Our timer will be Mindy. And I believe Sean has arrived. So Sean, why don't you tell us what our word of the day will be today?
Okay. Word of the day. You know what? Did I ask you about that?
Yes, you asked me if you can come up with one or if you need to go somewhere, and I told you can come up with one.
Okay. I didn't come up with one, so.
I get a word of the day every day. Do you want to use it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying we could do that if you'd like.
Preparedness. Today's word is preparedness.
Hang on, there we go. We're Jeannie's word of the day. There you go. Oh, which is still probably the time. And make it cheap.
Okay, the word would be ingenious, indigenous.
Indigenous.
There you go, indigenous. Let's see here. Respect for, let me see, what is the meaning of it? Is it in here?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry.
Could I get my pen? So, from the speed head, maybe to a specific area or innate or inherent.
Okay. Meaning would be innate or inherent, native to a specific area. Indigenous.
Indigenous.
Indigenous. I'm gonna have trouble with that word. Thank you very much.
Indigenous should be an interesting word to try and work into our speeches today. Next on our agenda is to introduce the speakers. I will start with our second speaker, if that's all right, because I do not see our first
He's
speaker.
here.
He's here?
He's practicing.
He's
Okay.
practicing?
Yeah.
Okay. You might mention to him that he should join us in the
So he was just here a second ago.
Okay, do you mind going in reverse order? If we start with our second speaker, since our first speaker is preparing himself outside. So our second speaker, who will become our first speaker, is Harlon Pickett. And our speaker, Harlon Pickett, is an expert in the field of health insurance. He will be speaking tonight on the state of healthcare and how we got here. He will also discuss where he believes it is going. So please welcome Harlon Pickett.
Thank you, Professor. So I've been doing health insurance for a very long time. And one of the things that I see is the biggest issue in America today is that people cannot differentiate between health insurance and health care. They're not the same thing. You do not have to have health insurance to have health care. If you all recall, when Obamacare was coming along, it was to guarantee everyone could have health insurance, so they were then guaranteed to have health care. So I ask you a question. How has that worked out? Those of you that have had to be on those type plans realize that they certainly do not guarantee you good, proper, or even any health care. But I still got health insurance. Yay. So how did we get here? Well, I can tell you for a fact that the indigenous people did not have health insurance. It was not around then. They might trade something for the witch doctor to take care of them, but the indigenous people, there was no such thought of having health insurance. And even though we've been here for a pretty long time now, there was no thought for us to really have health insurance until around the 50s or 60s. That's when health insurance kind of became a thing. And it still wasn't widespread. It first came into insurance places that, say you're going to have some at your business. They had that so that people would think they were getting more than what they were. But it was very difficult at first for insurance companies or anybody to talk doctors into even taking this. Well, why don't you just pay me? Why don't I just take care of you and then you pay me? Like it's always been. Why do I need health insurance for that? What is this strange thing? As we progressed, it became a little more common, but then in the early 80s, something called HMO. The brainstorm of health insurance companies everywhere. Wow. What if we could get a group of doctors together and tell everyone that worked for a certain company, if you go see these doctors, they will be better than you ever imagined, and the cost will be so much less because these doctors will know all about you. They'll know everything about you because they're going to take care of you. And then, if you need some better care, they're going to refer you to somebody else that their friends they talk with on Fridays, because everyone's going to be in this network. But then your question is, but what if I want to go to a doctor out of network? No, you can't do that. You're going to be paying on your own. But how much is this insurance going to cost me? Well, I can tell you, it's going to be cheap. It's going to be very inexpensive. In fact, if you work for certain companies, it won't cost you a penny. So how much is it going to cost me when I go see the doctor? It's going to be cheap. I've seen folks back in that time period that went through entire pregnancies, deliveries, postnatal, all of that, the total cost $2. Total cost $2. Wow, what is it? Was it very good care? Absolutely it was. It was excellent care. Why? Because they stayed in that network. There was no thought of going outside of that network. So you had to stay right there. And they got you. They got you. But what we've seen over time is that people like choice. Don't you like choice? Wouldn't you prefer choice? Wouldn't you like to go somewhere where the doctor is a known expert in the field? If you have cancer, don't you want to go to MD Anderson? The Mayo Clinic? Somewhere that is renowned for their care? That's where you want to go. Typically, those type plans, those type places don't live in HMO networks. But this is how we got here. Part of what happened then is the more people wanting choice insurance companies looking out at individual folks, they said, we're going to underwrite to make sure we only have the healthiest people in our plans. That's going to keep our costs down. Isn't that going to be awesome? Look how smart we are. Because all those people that work for companies, we can't underwrite them by law. Even if we got them on an HMO, they'd still cost us a bunch of money. But we're going to be real smart. And we're not going to take it. Even if you have something like controlled diabetes, we're simply not going to accept you on it. And this went on for years and years. Some states, like Texas, had what's called the risk pool, so that people that fell into those categories, diabetes, congestive heart failure, strokes, heart attacks, any of those things could still get coverage. Now, it was very expensive, although I kind of laugh now as I think back to what expensive was back in 2005, 2006, 2007. Expensive. It is to laugh. However, as we move forward, Obamacare came along to alleviate that. It alleviated it by saying everyone can have insurance for an affordable rate because everyone's taxes are going to go up. We're going to take all that money. You're going to pay more in your income tax, and if you don't get insurance, we're going to fine you. Oh, wait, we can't call it that. It's going to be a penalty. Well, we really can't call that either. You're going to help out the other folks. We'll call it that. But that's where we are now, is we're still in the throes of Obamacare. But what I feel is going to happen now, soon in the future, is people are going to be tired of all of the health insurance companies controlling everything. And we're going to break free from this. And we're going to get back to the days in my lifetime where networks are an anomaly, where networks are not going to exist the way that they do today. I believe that because I think the American people are tired of health insurance dictating their health care.
And now I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, who is Matthew Kordeski.
Hello.
Matthew.
Greetings, everyone. Oh, Harlon's going to show me up. I didn't have time to finish my speech yet, so you're going to see me do ours. I'll see how I do. Let's see, maybe this might be accidentally brilliant. My name is Matthew Kordeski. Nobody in my whole life has ever been able to pronounce it right. I often go by Matt K. Daniel David Kordeski, when he decided he wanted to be the world's greatest comedic film actor, changed his name to Danny K. Lawrence Tarrow, amateur boxer, when he got famous, was being offered TV roles, changed his name from Lawrence Tarrow to Mr. T. So I go as Matt K. All right, I'm originally from the great state of New Jersey, but I got tired of living around all that poverty and pollution, so I moved to Beaumont. That's a joke, but it's not. I really did that. I grew up in New Jersey, in Plainfield, Muhlenberg Hospital, Plainfield. I studied film and illustration at Glassboro State College in New Jersey. My last year at Glassboro State College, it turns out there was a billionaire in the area, who had made billions by breaking the embargo, by selling illegal technology to Iraq. The IRS was going to come after him and take all his money. Out of the kindness of his heart, him and his daughter came up with a plan to donate $100 million to Glassboro State College. They changed the name of the college to Rowan University. 3 guesses what the old goot's last name was, folks. I didn't get any benefit out of that. I wanted to get a master's degree in filmmaking to the University of Texas in Austin. But I needed to establish Texas residency, so I lived with my father. My parents were divorced in Beaumont, Texas. Texas is an old Indian mestizo word for friendly. I didn't think Beaumont was very friendly. When I was there, they were desegregating a racially segregated housing complex. The last African American to leave there moved back to a black neighborhood in Beaumont and was shot and killed. In my 7 months in Beaumont, ladies and gentlemen, I did not have one job. I was unemployed the entire time. I don't know if it was my Dick Joycey accent, my funny last name, or some kind of karmic stain I had committed in a past life. I couldn't find any work in Beaumont. So I decided to move to Austin and live in my car. I got jobs on movie sets. Meet me after work sometime. I'll tell you about the story that I delivered weed to Farrah Fawcett. And the next week I had to break up a physical fight between Farrah Fawcett and Peter Weller. They're both very funny stories. Then I got a job making TV commercials for a husband and wife company that turned out to be a cult. The boss was the first, last, and only man to know anything about anything, and if you dared to know something he didn't, you committed a sin against the cult. His wife was even worse. If you knew something she didn't, she assumed you were stealing. Lesson learned, I never want to work for a husband or wife company again. My next job after that was working on a fishing show. The owner was a devout racist. His wife ran the company. Did I mention I never want to work again for another husband or wife company? After that, I got a job making sales videos for a company called Sunset Direct in North Austin. I thought I finally left all the insanity behind. Everybody at the company wore a starched white shirt and black tie. Big, serious company. I found out later, I went to an after-hours happy hour, some employees and ex-employees got drunk and told me the story and said the company was actually a money laundering operation for low-end organized crime. The boss was so into money and coke, a lot of businessmen see yourself as the next Henry Ford, I want to be the next Steve Jobs. He wanted to be the next Hugh Hefner in all the bad connotations. I was getting paid a big fat salary to follow this lunatic around with a big professional beta cam and a spotlight and go into the bars on 6th Street so this 40-year-old man could hit on the co-eds and put it on video. He also liked to have all of his pals on video. I don't know if you knew this, drug dealers don't like the spotlight in any sense of the word. The running joke was the drug dealers wouldn't sell to him because he loved bad publicity. They had to send employees to go buy his drugs for him. It got worse and worse. The final project he wanted me to work on was, in hindsight, a brilliant idea that was 10 years ahead of its time. It was YouTube meets MySpace. Before the technology for that existed, however, it was YouTube meets MySpace meets pornography. To make a long story short, it was getting to the point where I felt like I was 2 steps away from having a bloody shovel in my hand after burying the bodies. My 5 minutes?
You got 4 to 6 minutes and you're at 4.
All right. After that, I quit and joined the exciting world of pedicabbing. I thought it was some form of cash to keep the money coming in as I pursued freelance gigs. I did pretty good. I went back to HEC and took classes in animation, had some fun with it, was a pedicabber for 17 years. People think it's the toughest job. I say it's like the Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love. What did I like about it? All of you know that feeling you want it all to go away? When you pedicab and you sweat, you pump, your body's full of adrenaline, that goes away. I kind of miss it. Then I got married, moved to San Antonio. I'm running my own company. Now I learned, do not ever have a husband and wife company. Do not bring your hobbies into the company. Learn the difference between something that you think is fun and something that is actually really going to make money. I'm not all the way there yet, but I am trying. I took all the lessons I learned. Remember I said I worked for the cult? One important lesson I learned from them. There's a good difference between good advertising and effective advertising. Good ads win awards from their peers. Other advertisers will give you an award. Effective advertising will not win any awards, but it'll make a lot of money. And that's what I'm trying to do with my marketing videos. And fade out.
Thank you, Matthew. So now I'm going to call for the timer's report. Lindsay.
Harlon Pickett was at 7 minutes and 12 seconds. And Matthew Kordeski was at 5 minutes and 21 seconds.
She said it right. Yeah.
Thank you. Now I have the honor of introducing our table topics master for the evening, Ms. Tammy Pettit.
I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. So I'm going to have volunteers come up. You get to choose 2 to 3 cards, and you get to pick your own topic from those. So who wants to come up and start? Okay, Matthew.
I say it now, like right now?
Yeah.
Wow. If you had the means, how would you address the problem of homelessness? If I had the means, I don't want to get too much into politics. One of the few things I agree with Donald Trump that he said on the campaign trail was, we need to punish these companies that are offshoring all our jobs and let's bring them back. Say what you want about Trump, that sentence I don't think anybody could have a problem with. So yeah, I would try and bring back as many manufacturing jobs and try and get the homeless jobs. I would try and set basic apartments, although I heard the old theory that just giving them shelter psychologically doesn't help. You need to give them a home, because a home you'll fight for, and you'll work for, and you'll defend it. Shelter, not so much, you'll abandon it. So I think bringing back more jobs.
You just pick one. So
Oh, I could have done this other one.
You could have done this. All right. Who wants to go now? And I forgot to shake hands.
2 or 3?
Pick 2 or 3, whatever.
And give yourself a lot of options.
Choose one of those.
Yes.
You choose one.
Kind of like. Pick 3 bad ones, maybe.
I like to read thoroughly. Okay, so the question that I have is, what remains undone that you have wanted to get done for years? What remains undone in my entire life? When I look over my life and I think about all of the things that I wanted to do, I've really already done them. Maybe that sounds a bit pompous or arrogant, but I feel so fulfilled. I always wanted to travel. I traveled for 10 years. I went to Asia, to Europe, South America. I've lived in each of these countries, and I really got to see so many different styles of living, and I really challenged myself in each one of those settings, and that's something that I always wanted to do. I know maybe all of my speech revolves around traveling, but that's what I really wanted to do, and I did it. So, let's see. Another thing that I really wanted to do for years was write for a living, and I'm doing that now, too. So I will tell you something that I thought I always wanted to do for years, but did not. Now I'm really happy that I did not do it, which is have little babies. I'm really happy that I did not do that, because then I wouldn't have been able to get done what I wanted to do for years. I know, you can.
All right, yeah.
No, I prefer taking this one to make it easier for my brain.
Okay.
At what age do most people become old, and what is the secret to staying young? Dear Toastmasters, do you all remember the time in your life when you see that there is a difference between what you were shown at home, the values, the circumstances, the upbringing, the way your parents talk to you, and everyone else? And then you go into high school maybe, and you really start having an issue with that difference. You feel like all of a sudden you should look down upon what you were shown at home and think that everything else is better. Everyone else is better. So you strive to become something different than what your origins really are. And to me, at that point, you are turning into an old person, into a person that has a mindset of adjusting to others instead of being true to yourself. And then you go into life, you run into a wall a few times, and for those of you who are lucky, you will realize, wait, I think true happiness is in seeing who I really am, where my strengths are, and how I can change the world by doing so. And that is when the spirit of youth comes back.
I believe we do.
Okay.
Oh, I picked 4. Look at that.
All right.
So, should marijuana be legalized? I would say yes and no. I think marijuana has its place to help people in need for medical reasons. I don't think it should be legalized so much for a recreational drug. I know people will disagree with me, but I feel that there's not enough ways to tell whether someone is on it. Like if someone is drinking, you can test them and see right away. I just don't feel that you can distinguish it, and people can't. It slows down your motor skills, so if you're working in construction or with machinery, I feel you have that chance of getting hurt, and the company you work for may take the liability for your accident if it may happen. So in part, I say yes, it should be. At the same time, I feel it would be good for medical reasons as long as it's monitored. And that's my answer.
One more.
I agree with you, Shankar. I don't need you reading a whole bunch of cards and making my mind work too hard. Let's see here. What one question would you ask a psychic about the future? When's healthcare going to get fixed? No, sorry, I had to go there. Let's see. So, if I had to ask a psychic one question, I certainly do not want to know when I'm going to die. Do not want to know when anyone in my family is going to die. I believe what I would want to know is if they could give me advice on where I should live, where I should do, what I should do. Not tell me, but give me advice. If they can see into the future, if they have an idea of what your future is going to be, if they know I'm falling to the Grand Canyon, tell me don't go to the Grand Canyon. Stay away from big holes in the ground. Just give me some advice. I think that would be kind of cool because you're asking them a question without getting a direct answer, because I don't want to get a direct answer from a psychic. I think that would be kind of scary. I don't want to know that much.
Thank you, table topic master. Mindy, can we have the timers report for our table topic speakers?
Matthew was at 40 seconds, just under the 1 minute. Andrea was at 1 minute 25 seconds. Shankar was at 1 minute 38 seconds. Sean 1 minute 35 seconds, and Harlan 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Thank you. And now I'll be introducing our general evaluator, who is Teresa.
I forgot what I was supposed to do, so we are winging it tonight, aren't we, Matthew?
Yes.
I truly did. All of a sudden, I went blank on what I was supposed to do, but let's talk about the whole session. Thank you, Ms. Toastmaster. Who are there?
Maybe.
Right. Oh, them for now, and then I'll come back later and follow up.
Yep.
Good job, thank you. I'd like to introduce the first evaluator, which is Ms. Andrea Ferguson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Matthew, thank you for allowing us to know more about your life through your humorous anecdotes. The purpose of this speech was to give an icebreaker, to learn a little bit more, to give the club a little bit more information about yourself, and to have an opportunity to understand the basic structure of a speech. Things that you excelled at, of course, you're a comedian, so you made us all laugh. You may want to work on spending a bit more time with your conclusion, wrapping it up. It was a bit, it was a bit brief. And you could challenge yourself by talking at half the speed you normally do.
All right.
Because part of audience awareness is taking regions into account, being that you're not in Boise, you know, you're in South Central Texas, so talk at half the speed, and I think that we would all understand you a bit more, follow your jokes. Some of the punches we couldn't always follow because they were just really quick.
Yeah.
But other than that, I haven't reached that yet. And I would say that the pacing would maybe help you with your vocal variety. I think even if you just slowed down, that would give us some changes. But pretty much throughout the entire speech it was really fast. And also that will help you when you're writing your speeches because you don't have to condense so much into it because you'll have more time. It can be actually a little bit longer, so you won't have to take as much time there. Eye contact was perfect. You engaged us all. You used your ear when you were gesturing to hear or to listen. And speaking of gestures, your gestures were really good. You walked around a bit, and you could do a bit more playing with the dynamics like levels and things like that. Maybe get a bit, so I mean using your body humorously in a way to
Oh, yeah,
like
that,
levels
okay,
like that.
okay, yeah.
And let's see here. Okay. You seemed really comfortable. I know sometimes it gets a bit uncomfortable. It's always difficult to give a speech, I think, for most of us. But you didn't really show it outwardly. And that's probably a skill that you learned over time as a part of your profession as well.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for letting us know a little bit more about you. That was really nice.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce our second evaluator, Mr. Shankar Olsolek.
Harlon, you are a very good speaker. Thank you. I was very pleased to hear a topic that I am myself passionate about, and that leads me to telling you that I think your opening was very good because in a relatively short amount of time you found a way to immediately let the audience know what your speech was about. And of course, it is a speech that applies to anyone and everyone, so I feel like you have captivated your audience right away. That was also underlined by 2 or 3 times when you asked the audience you asked them a question. So you demonstrated that you were able to put yourself into their perspective, but also when you ask these questions about disease and cancer, it really makes the audience stick to what you say and want to follow what you have to say. I liked your pace, I liked your vocal clarity, and you also were able to include the word debate. Something that always shows expertise is when you are able to tie history of a topic into your speech. You were able to explain to us when HMOs came up and what role they play in the ecosystem of healthcare. That is very well done. A few items that you might want to work on. I noticed that you started the speech with so. I believe one of your first words was so. That is to be avoided. The other element was that I feel the seriousness of the nature of the speech calls for avoiding words such as folks. It is just the way you like to talk, but we can take this to another level by replacing folks with people or other appropriate words. I think to challenge yourself, you should try to understand that it is a very heavy topic, and to make it easier for the audience to follow through, you should use the technical framing, where in the beginning you say, we're going to go over this, you will listen, you will hear about HMOs, PPOs, health insurance, and then we'll come to a conclusion towards the end. I think that would make your speech even better.
I would like to now introduce the word of the day. Grammarian. Thank you, sorry. Sean, Adam?
So this is where I give the terms and all that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I have Harlan with, using the word 3 times. I didn't hear anybody else, so if anybody else is here, okay. Oh, okay.
I didn't know what the word was.
Huh?
Yeah, you were outside.
Also Harlan used so and but once. Let's see, I have Matthew, you paused a little bit. Well, you paused and you asked for time. So I just want to say, just pay attention to the lights. Once it's green, you know,
Yeah.
you can start wrapping it up because you're within time. That way you don't pause in your speech. You used one time that I caught. I also have Andrea use but and one time each. I caught myself using one time, and I probably used it more than that. See, there I go again. Shankar, I have you with 2, and I have you with 1 that I caught you with. And that's it.
I'd like to now give the timer report, please.
Shreya was 2 minutes, 23 seconds, and Shankar, 2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Thank you very much. Going over the whole meeting today, I want to first of all apologize for being gone so many weeks. I really missed everybody here. I missed sharpening my skills as a speaker, and I'm looking forward to next week. With that being said, we did have a few people missing because of, I'm assuming, Columbus Day, which we are honoring the indigenous people. I would like to start off with speaker number 1, Harlan. You did amazing. You're always such a great speaker. I enjoy listening to you, and I always come away with something every time I hear you speak. Really a great talk. You're very funny. I enjoy listening to you. You do have a lot of material, I'm assuming, for quite a few different speeches, it sounds like. I think there's a couple things that we need to remember too, is to handshake. I know maybe you don't want to come up to the front. We don't have to, is that correct?
I believe they encourage us to.
The lectern should never be empty.
Okay,
So the
so we
stick
gotta
should always
remember
have
the
someone.
handshakes when we gotta remember clapping, we gotta remember our pomp and circumstance for.
So when we give the timer and the grammarian, we walk up there? Or
You don't have to.
You don't have to,
You don't have to.
okay.
It really depends on your club and what y'all have decided.
Okay.
In my home club, the word report is done from the position where the word master has taken their notes, but they do stand. The same with the timers.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Other than that, we gotta remember handshakes and get everybody here next week. Thank you.
Where we are about to close our meeting, with permission of our presiding officer, I'd like to provide some information that is okay with you related to pathways. In particular, I believe, Andrea, I just gave you some incorrect information, so I'd like to correct that right now. For those of you who were not at our last meeting, I spoke about the importance of selecting your pathway. Many of you have completed many of the steps to actually have you completed level 1 of your pathway. However, without that pathway initiated and you actually launching those activities and submitting them, it's not actually being tracked. So it's important that you go in and select your pathway and begin launching those activities. I wanted to just give some clarity on what is required for level 1, because that is where everyone is starting, and I was a little unclear about it, and I have reread the instructions now. I'm more clear on level 1. Level 1 requires 3 types of activities. The first is your icebreaker, which most of the individuals in here have completed their icebreaker. The second is evaluation and feedback. Within evaluation and feedback, it requires 2 speeches. You give an initial speech, you get feedback from your evaluator, and then you incorporate that feedback into a second speech. Once you've done that second speech, you have completed the evaluation and feedback project. So is that correct? Yes.
Can the second speech in the evaluation and feedback be the same speech?
It's my understanding that it can be if you improve it, or it can be a different speech where you just incorporate some of the feedback you've received.
That's correct.
And it can't be the icebreaker speech or the research speech, which is the third one?
Those are separate.
They have to be different.
The icebreaker stands alone, and the research and evaluation speech stands alone, and then the 2 in the middle are the evaluation and feedback. So to get through level 1, you actually do 4 speeches. Icebreaker, 2 for the evaluation and feedback, and then your research speech. So that's your 4.
Isn't part of that also you have to do an evaluation?
Yes, you are expected to complete an evaluation as well, as part of the second part of the project. Yes, thank you for correcting that. So, but that's just one evaluation that you do for someone else.
Right.
So I wanted to clarify that for everyone so that we can start tracking what you've done. Several of you have done several speeches and have not initiated or started tracking that through Pathways. So I need you to think through the speeches you've given and where you would apply those in your level 1. Harlon, I did just write down yours, so we can look at yours if you'd like to, and I can show you where I think you would be.
Okay.
And Matthew, also, you have done several. I believe you probably have completed all that's necessary for level 1 if we can just document the dates. And several other people have gotten almost all the way through or close to being complete with level 1. We do have 3 people that have completed level 1, so congratulations, Shankar. And Craig, and myself, so excuse me for saying so. However, once we get our 4th individual that's completed level 1, we actually earn 1 of our points for our Distinguished Club membership, so that'll be very exciting. So please initiate your pathway. If you need help with that, I can stay after the meeting and help give you instructions on how to launch your pathway.
Also, your website has record of when everyone gave speeches. So you can utilize that to backtrack what you've done.
Yes, I was actually looking at that from our meetings recordings where it has all the dates I started with Harlon because Harlon was speaking today and I was tracking. Then I was going to go through yours on Trey to see where you had completed activities. So I was going through that. I can list the dates, but that doesn't help me quite understand where some of you may want to apply your speeches. So that's where I need a little assistance from each of you to help me with that. And with that, I will return the meeting back to our presiding officer.
Thank you very much, Laura. Again, I am very excited that we had an easy day in filling the roles tonight. I would like that help us fill the roles for the next time as well. Let me think. I had one of the many meetings as an officer I had with Bruce Garrett, and something that will be on the horizon for this club is an internal speech contest. We can decide that together, but it's most likely going to be in January, and then the winner out of that speech contest has the opportunity to move on and participate or compete at the area level. Is that correct?
That's correct. Do you know the requirements for international speech for a chartered club? I don't know. For an established club, a member must have completed level 2 in order to enter the international speech contest.
Okay, I do not know. So the area contest is considered an international speech contest?
Well, the club is considered an international speech contest. So it starts at the club, and then all the club winners in your area will go to the area contest. and compete, and all of the area winners will go to the division and compete, and all the division winners will then go to the district where there's eight different divisions. And then if you win the district, you go on to the international conference, which is held in the fall. And that becomes the world champion of public speaking. That's kind of a big deal for Toastmasters.
Absolutely. So it might be possible that we are not at the level we need to be to actually have an internal contest in January.
Remember, this is a brand new charter club. There may be some leeway in a brand new charter club. We have to look at the rule to see.
Okay. Well, then just to put that on your radar, again, thank you for being here tonight. Sign up for a role next week, and let's all try to be on time and to be prepared for our roles, because in a way we are also, it's also a question of carrying the responsibility to have everyone else in the club progress through the curriculum. With this, I adjourn the meeting.